The music wasn't even that loud. That's the part people always get wrong when they imagine this story. They picture a wild, lawless rave spilling out onto the street, bass shaking windows, red cups littering the lawn. But the truth is much simpler and much more ridiculous. It was a Saturday evening, the kind that feels like it was designed to be remembered. Late summer air, warm but forgiving, with a breeze that carried the smell of grilled food and freshly cut grass. My garage door was open halfway, just enough to let the light spill out and keep the air moving. Inside, a few folding tables, a speaker no bigger than a microwave, and about a dozen people, neighbors, friends, co-workers, laughing, talking, living their lives. This wasn't a party. It was more like a gathering. Someone's birthday technically, though we'd stopped caring whose after the first round of burgers. Kids had been running in and out earlier, chasing each other with glow sticks until their parents herded them home. By the time the sun dipped below the rooftops, it was all adults. No shouting, no screaming, just music, conversation, and the easy comfort of people who finally had a night off. I remember checking the time because I'm that guy, the one who worries about being respectful. It wasn't even 9 yet. That's when I felt it. That strange shift in the air. The kind you only notice after the fact, when you replay the moment in your head and think, yeah, that's when everything changed. I turned toward the driveway, holding a paper plate stacked with food, and there she was. Standing just at the edge of my property line, arms crossed so tightly it looked painful, lips pressed into a thin, judgmental line, like she was physically restraining herself from exploding. Perfectly styled blonde hair, crisp white capri pants, a clipboard tucked under one arm like it was an extension of her body. Karen, not her real name, obviously, but if the haircut fits. She'd moved into the neighborhood about a year earlier, and from day one, she made it her personal mission to remind everyone that this was a HOA community. As if we'd all forgotten. As if the monthly fees weren't enough of a reminder. As if the aggressively cheerful newsletters weren't taped to every mailbox. She was the kind of person who smiled while delivering threats. The kind who said things like, "I'm just trying to help right after telling you you were in violation of subsection B, paragraph 4. I'd already had a few run-ins with her, once over my trash cans being out an hour too long, another time because my grass was visibly uneven. I wish I were exaggerating. So, when I saw her standing there, staring at my garage like it had personally offended her, my stomach dropped. I handed my plate to a friend and walked over, forcing a polite smile onto my face. "Hey," I said, "everything okay?" She didn't answer right away. She just looked past me, eyes scanning the garage, the people inside, the speaker, the open door. Her expression twisted into something between disgust and triumph. "Do you know," she finally said, "how many noise complaints I've already received tonight?" I blinked. "From who?" She smiled then, a small, tight smile. "Concerned residents," that was her favorite phrase. Concerned residents, always anonymous, always conveniently aligned with whatever she personally didn't like. "I'm sorry," I said, keeping my tone calm, "but we're well within quiet hours, and the music is disruptive," she cut in sharply, "and unauthorized." "Unauthorized?" I echoed. "It's my garage." She tapped her clipboard, nails clicking loudly. According to HOA guidelines, any gathering exceeding 8 non-resident individuals constitutes an event and requires prior approval. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. The absurdity just slipped out. She didn't laugh. "I'm serious," she said. "This neighborhood has standards." Behind me, the music dipped as someone changed the song. A burst of laughter followed. Normal, human laughter. The kind that comes from joy, not chaos. I gestured vaguely over my shoulder. "It's just friends hanging out. No one's causing trouble." She leaned in slightly, lowering her voice as if she were about to share a secret. "If you don't shut this down immediately, I will be forced to escalate." There it was, the threat, delivered with the calm confidence of someone who had escalated many times before and enjoyed every second of it. "Escalate how?" I asked, already knowing the answer. She straightened, chin lifting. "I will call the police." For a moment I just stared at her. I was waiting for the punchline. Surely she couldn't be serious. Calling the cops over a garage get-together before 9 o'clock? "You're going to call the police," I repeated slowly, "because we're listening to music in my garage." "Yes," she said without hesitation. "This is a disturbance." I took a breath, then another. Every instinct told me to argue, to quote the noise ordinance, to point out how ridiculous this was. But I'd learned something important over the years. People like Karen don't care about being right. They care about being obeyed. "Do what you feel you need to do," I said finally. Her eyes flickered just for a second. Surprise, maybe. She hadn't expected that. She wanted resistance. She wanted drama. Instead, she gave a satisfied nod. "Very well." She turned on her heel and walked back toward her house, already pulling her phone out of her pocket. I stood there for a moment, watching her go, the knot in my stomach tightening. Then I went back into the garage. "She's serious?" one of my friends asked, raising an eyebrow. "Dead serious," I said. "She's calling the cops." A few people groaned. Someone suggested turning the music down even more. Someone else joked about hiding the beer. Another laughed and said, "What are they going to do, arrest us for having fun?" I shrugged, trying to stay relaxed. "We're not doing anything wrong. Let's just keep it chill." 10 minutes later, red and blue lights washed over the driveway. The conversation stopped mid-sentence. The music cut off completely. Every head turned toward the open garage door as the unmistakable glow reflected off car windows and polished concrete. One police car rolled up, then another, then another. I stepped forward, heart pounding now, because no matter how innocent you are, seeing that many cop cars outside your house triggers something primal. And then I saw Karen. She stood across the street, just outside her front yard, arms folded again, face illuminated by flashing lights. But this time, her expression wasn't smug. It was confused, because the cars kept coming. One by one, they lined the street. Officers got out, adjusting belts, chatting casually with one another, as if they'd just arrived at a neighborhood barbecue. Which, in a way, they had. The first officer approached me, smiling. "Evening," he said. "You the homeowner?" "Yes, sir," I replied. He glanced around the garage, the people standing quietly now, hands visible, no signs of chaos. His smile widened. "So," he said, lowering his voice conspiratorially, "whose birthday is it?" I blinked. Technically Mike's." The officer laughed. "Figures." Behind him, more officers were gathering. A few waved at people inside the garage. One of them pointed at the grill and said something that made another cop laugh. I looked past them again, toward Karen. She was still standing there, phone in hand, mouth slightly open now. I could almost see the thoughts racing through her head. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She'd expected one squad car, maybe two, a stern lecture, a shutdown, not this. Another officer stepped up beside the first, nodding at me. "We got a call about a loud, out-of-control party." I swallowed. "Is that what she said?" He smirked. "Something like that." Before I could respond, a third officer joined the group. Then a fourth. They were greeting each other by name. Joking. Asking who brought food. That's when it hit me. Half the precinct lived in this neighborhood. Not just lived, knew me. Knew my friends. Knew these garages, these driveways, these quiet little streets where nothing ever really happened. I saw one officer spot someone inside and break into a grin. "Hey, didn't you fix my fence last year?" The guy laughed. "Yeah, man." Karen took a step forward, clearly unable to contain herself anymore. "Excuse me," she called out, voice sharp. "I made the complaint." Every conversation stopped. All the officers turned toward her at once. She lifted her chin, regaining some of that familiar confidence. "This gathering is in violation of HOA regulations. It's loud, disruptive, and unauthorized. I expected to be shut down. There was a pause. Then the first officer, still standing next to me, turned fully toward her. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "are you aware of the city noise ordinance?" She hesitated. "That's not the point. This is private community matter." He nodded. "And are you aware that it's currently 8:47 p.m. and the measured noise level from this property is well below the legal limit?" Her lips parted, closed, opened again. "Well, Another officer spoke up. "Also, we've received 0 other complaints." She stiffened. "That's impossible. I've had messages." The officer raised an eyebrow. "From who?" She didn't answer. Silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. Finally, the first officer cleared his throat. "Ma'am, calling emergency services for non-emergency HOA issues isn't appropriate." Her face flushed. "I was told to call if there was a disturbance." "There is no disturbance," he said gently. "Just a garage party." A couple of officers chuckled. Karen looked around, realizing too late that she was the only one not in on the joke. "But," she started. Another officer cut in, still polite but firmer now. "If anything, you're the one causing a disturbance." The words landed like a slap. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. I watched her deflate in real time. The clipboard slipped slightly under her arm. The authority she wielded so freely suddenly evaporated, replaced by something small and powerless. The officer turned back to me. "You're all good. Enjoy your night." I nodded, barely holding back a smile. "Thank you, officer." As they began to disperse, some staying a bit longer, chatting, one even grabbing a soda, Karen slowly retreated toward her house, shoulders hunched, heels clicking against the pavement. She didn't look back. The music came back on, quieter than before but still alive. Laughter followed, louder now, freer. Someone raised a cup in a silent toast. I stood there, taking it all in, knowing this was only the beginning of the story, but already certain of one thing. Karen had called the cops to shut us down. Instead, she just met the entire precinct, and she would never look at my garage the same way again.